inside my head becoming blurred by so much said. I'm in too deep waters I tread, can't catch my breath. A shadow chasing me, a game of hide and seek. Found they'll have a peace.
All right, welcome everyone to another edition of Deconversion Stories. Tonight, Mikey and myself have Mr. Tim Bristol on with us. It was kind of actually a late edition. I needed someone for Tuesday, and then Mikey came back and goes, I got Tim. I'm like, all right, cool. Let's get Tim on here.
We talked about this last Tuesday. In the after party last Tuesday when I texted Tim during the after party.
Yeah.
Oh,
excellent. Well, first of all, Tim, thanks for being here, man.
Yeah, no problem.
And we were talking a little bit before the show got going, and I think we've got some pretty interesting stuff to go over. First of all, let's go back into the days when you kind of had a God belief, and tell us that story, because you kind of a little bit about it with your folks being from two different denominations, etc.
Yeah, I had the history of Ireland sort of religion thrown at me. So my mom was Roman Catholic, and my dad was Protestant. And
which freaks me out right away, because two of them don't usually
they don't
right?
Which Protestant?
Well, one of the thousands and thousands of Protestants. I think the local churches are usually like in my area, they're like Congregational or Lutheran or something like that. It definitely wasn't Congregational. It was probably one of the Lutheran churches.
Right.
So y'all didn't have no badass food afterwards.
No
organ player.
No. I think we had guitars. I think that was the church. They had guitar players.
Guitars, Cadillacs, and hillbilly music. So, so I got to know, did you at least go to church once in a while with your folks?
Yes.
You were saying
I went to church with my great grandmother on Sunday mornings, on and off. It wasn't all the time, but it as she got older, like we couldn't go to church as much, so we watched it on TV.
Oh yeah, okay.
But I mean, it's still the same, because she was Roman Catholic, so it was still the same, like 1 hour Roman Catholic mass. And as a kid, I was completely like, I was zoned out all the time. Like it was I didn't want to be there at all. And
sounds like me today.
Yeah. And we went to like the Christmas masses, and I went to Palm Sunday a couple of times. But a funny story about that, one of my first jobs, I worked at a deli, a grocery store deli, and it was Ash Wednesday one day, and I started seeing these people come in with the thing on their head. I hadn't seen it in a long time, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? Is this a cult? And I was like, what's going on?
Yes.
And then I went home, and I went to my girlfriend, and I was like, I saw this, like people had black crosses on their head, and I was like, what's going on? She's like, it's Ash Wednesday. I was like, oh my God, I totally had no idea. I was like, that's what they do. But I've been to that like once.
Bad Christian. So they didn't really, you were telling us earlier, they didn't really raise you in a specific denomination, but you held a God belief in your youth.
Yeah.
So how did that fall away?
So I will say that I'm not like an atheist per se, but I don't believe in like the Christian God or the Jewish God or anything like that. Like for the longest time, I considered myself agnostic. I didn't believe in any traditional religion. And I kind of dabbled in a bunch of like, I'll explain this later, but I like dabbled in like a few different pagan religions, and
me too.
And now I don't know, like I am a political scientist. I'm like an academic. So, and politics and religion are just like this all the time. That's all they do all the time. But I think that religion is caustic. I think that it erodes knowledge.
Yep.
And
I would agree.
while I don't specifically believe in a god, I do have a few like spiritual beliefs, but they're not like in a specific tradition.
Okay. But when you say that, do you believe in some sort of a higher power?
I do less than I did before. I guess is the answer. Like I find a lot of things about religion very hard to believe.
Yeah.
And
For
I
sure.
find a lot of things about what people think of spirituality is very hard to believe.
A lot of it's full of woo, so yeah.
Yeah. And I guess I'll get into this. For about a year, I owned a new age shop in my town. Me and my friend Keith. Mikey knows Keith.
I do know Keith.
We owned a new age shop together, and we did like tarot readings and palm readings and all that stuff. And while we were there, we had a mini library, and one of the books was called The History of God. And this book was basically about the history of religion. And after reading through the book, I'm like, man, people believe the craziest shit. And not even just like Christian beliefs or Judeo-Christian beliefs or any of that. Like, I also took an ancient Chinese history class as part of one of my degrees, and Chinese history is literally religion and history just mashed together. And once again, people believe that if you didn't have the favor of the gods in ancient China, you were destined to fail. Like, that is their belief structure. So the more I learn about religion and history, the less I feel like any of that is true. So I would say that any beliefs I do have are constantly questioned by just learning.
Yeah, and I'm the same way.
But yes, we were talking briefly before the show. My partner Keith and I, we call ourselves spirit doctors, because one day a person came into the new age shop and they were like, "Oh, I'm being haunted by ghost spiders."
Oh God.
What?
Yeah. And they're like, "Do you have anything for that?" And we're like, "Ghost spiders?" And we got calls from like a local police department to help investigate what they thought was voodoo.
Oh, jeez.
And Keith and I both went there and were like, "Listen, this is not voodoo. These are just people being weird." Like it was chickens being beheaded and just like left in the forest.
Oh yeah.
And they were like, "Is this some sort of voodoo ritual?" Yeah. And we're like, "No, it's just people being weird. Like, that's not voodoo." But after a couple of calls from the police department, we're like, "Oh man, we're like paranormal investigators or something."
Ghost hunters.
Yeah. So we started calling ourselves spirit doctors.
You're like Supernatural Connecticut edition.
Yeah. And by the way, the entire time we did tarot readings, and I know how to do palmistry, and Keith knows how to read runes. We would always tell our customers, we're like, "We're not psychic. We don't believe in psychics. We don't believe in ESP or any of that stuff. This is just a
fucking
talent
charlatans."
Yeah. Oh no, those people are the worst. Like,
yeah,
cold readings and all that stuff. In fact, we did a show. It was like the first podcast I had ever done, and we would do like tarot readings online on Blog Talk Radio. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of Blog Talk Radio.
Yeah, that brings back some memories.
Yeah. And so people would call in live, and we would do like tarot read whatever for them. But at the beginning of the show, we'd put a disclaimer up, like, "We're not psychics. Those people are bullshit. You know, we're not going to try and bullshit you. It's just a talent that people learn, and we're just like reading the meaning of the cards or whatever." Like, we're like, I I don't want to pretend to be psychic because that's a lot of work. Those
Yep.
guys pretending to be psychic, they're working really hard.
Especially if you
And-
take the hot reading route. where
Yes.
You can get all their information, right?
Mm-hmm. Like we didn't have anything to upsell, even in the New Age shop. We weren't trying to upsell people to buy crystals to cleanse your soul or whatever it was. We were just
Chakra realignment.
Just
The
had
New
some
Age-
ghost spider repellent. And
Yeah,
then,
yeah.
You know, that's it.
We
Well, I
bought
was
a-
going to suggest you could have sold them or told them you have this little box. Of course, there's nothing in it because you can't see ghosts, right? You got some ghost spider hawks that should take care of the ghost spiders.
So we did have, like, in the shop, we had incense, we had sage, we had other herbs and stuff like that. But then we had this like really like ridiculous stuff that we found on this website one day. Like we had a squeeze bottle of holy water. It was just a squirt bottle of holy water. People could buy it if they wanted. It was kind of a
I'm
gimmick
drinking
gift,
some
but-
right now.
And we
Well,
also
that's-
had this stuff, and I remember it very because it smelled awful, and it was the color black. It was called Black Destroyer Oil, and what it was supposed to like break curses or ward out bad things and stuff like that. But it just
Wow.
it smelled like hell.
So what you do?
And-
So what you do is you take one tiny drop of the evil black oil, and you put that into the spritzer bottle with the holy water. Shake it up a little bit. Spray it where you're feeling the spiders. And I think that's where
Yeah.
it's
One
like a
time,
concentrate.
One time someone he like burst into the shop and he was very serious and he was like, I need all your sage right now. And we were like, okay. We had only like a couple of like the bundles of sage. We are like, what happened to you, man? Like, why do you need all of our sage right now? And he's like, there's no time to talk. I have to go. And he just went out. The craziest shit happened in that shop. It was hilarious the entire time.
I need all your sage, damn it. I heard you can get high off of it.
I need all your sage right now.
I wonder what that was all about. Well, it was a sage a way to purify, right? Is what
Yeah,
sage
yeah.
is used for?
It's used in like cleansing and if you need to
Yeah,
like get
yeah.
bad spirits out of a room or something.
Of course.
There's-
Smell.
there's no
smells
time.
nice.
There's no time to talk,
Yeah,
man. Give me the sage.
I like it on turkey. It's good on turkey. Like
Maybe he had a bunch of turkey sandwiches. Like, oh no.
I'm out of sage. Hey, there's a weirdo shop next door to me.
Let me go.
oh,
They gotta have
And-
some.
we were in business for maybe a year, and every month some fucking Catholic Christian organization would send us like the worst shit.
Mm.
They would we got hate mail almost every week from there was a Christian Science reading room in the same plaza as our New Age shop. And I'm pretty
Oh,
sure that they were like, hey, those fucking pagans over there, let's get them. But we got like, you're going to hell. You need to leave. With like, we got threats.
Yeah.
And I mean, we shrugged it off because it's like, it's
Yeah.
Connecticut. Who's gonna,
Yeah.
we're not in
I
the
would have
city
drawn
or
pictures
anything.
of eyes, like evil eyes, and put them all over there.
But yeah, I mean, that was that was an interesting time because I'd never experienced that kind of, I guess, anger from a religious group.
Especially
They did
the
not want us
loving
there.
ones, right?
Yeah, they didn't want us there, and they were trying to get us out. And we're not even like Keith is really a pagan, but I'm not. Like, I was like, get him, not me.
I'm just here to sell shit.
Exactly. I'm just here to make money, man.
Yeah, teach people how to read tarot. I still have a couple tarot decks, actually. I got a Dragon Tarot deck, and I've got Aleister Crowley's Thoughts deck.
Yeah, I got where is it? I got a couple of tarot decks, but I also have it's a little statue palmistry hand.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know where it is right now. But it's just like a little knickknack that I kept from the New Age shop because when we went out of business, I was like, this is mine, and this is mine, and this is mine. But,
I've seen those things before.
when me and the wife were on our honeymoon, and of course me and another lady got pulled out of line going through the TSA, and they're like, I think it was because I had like something like this, like the wipes.
Uh-huh.
Because it was still COVID stuff. So like every table we sat at, I wiped that shit down. I wiped out. So I had my wipes with me everywhere. So it was me and then another lady that got pulled out of line. And then she had like in a box with the thing, another box wrapped in another thing. It was her tarot deck. She's like, that's religious. I don't want you to open that. That's religious. And I was just like, oh.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I just had Lysol. Yeah. That what are you in for? Look, it was like, yeah, Lysol wipe.
Oh, here it is.
They're open, which I'd asked them not to.
There it is.
Oh, yeah. Oh, jeez. Fuck. I keep getting on TikTok. I flip through and I get the little people go live all the time, and for some reason I'm getting shit like tarot readings, palmistry, psychic mediums, blah blah. I'm like, why are these coming up? I don't fucking watch these idiot sticks.
My TikTok is trash. My For You page is abominable. I don't know what's going on in there. Let's stay out of there. Get me in trouble. The Tatianas are live and well, I see.
Yeah.
So
what caused you guys to end up closing that shit down? Shop?
Yeah, our rent got raised by the landowner. It was around 2012, I want to say. So it was like during the recovery, the economic recovery. So
right.
He raised rent on everyone in the building, and we just couldn't afford it because we were barely getting by as it is. Like new age shops don't make millions of dollars.
No.
But
I
will say
ran one successfully for a while, but
yeah, I will say that like the community around those shops is pretty nice. Like when we opened, the people from the local shops came around. They like said hi. If you need anything. They even like gave us some books and whatnot. That's where I found the History of God book.
Right.
And they were very nice. They're nice people.
Sure.
Just the Christian Science reading room that had a problem.
They were sitting over there with typewriters like, I can't believe this.
Were they like right beside you guys or what?
They were. So like the thing was like an L almost, and we were on one side of the L and they were on the other, so they could see us from across the way, from across the parking lot. And they were like, those damn pagans.
I guess they forgot that you have the right to your religious
but yeah, I mean
stuff
nowadays
as well.
No.
I guess not. Like like I said, there was a lot of hate, but it was in the mail. Like no one actively like came over and like smashed windows or anything. They just like sending us hate mail.
Oh boy!
I gave him something to do.
Yeah,
you didn't get any like chick tracks stuffed under the door or nothing.
No, but sometimes they would shove the mail under the door. They just shove the envelopes because they didn't want to send it. They just walk across the parking lot and shove it under
Oh,
there.
hell no. They didn't even waste the stamp. No, that don't count. No, I'm not accepting that. You got to at least waste the stamp if you want me to open this. Get the shit out of here.
Wow.
But yeah, that place was a lot of fun. And we met some very interesting people. The ghost spiders wasn't the only like crazy person that came in and was like, I need your help. One lady came in and thought her son could see ghosts and that he could control the ghosts and that we needed to help him control the ghosts. And I was like, I'm not doing any of that. Yeah. And I was in, what did she call him?
Fuck.
He was like a rainbow child or something like that. And I was like, that's out of my pay grade.
Yeah.
I'm just a humble spirit doctor.
They come in there. All right, we'd like 3 exorcisms and a large fry. It's like, wait, whoa.
Yeah, whoa.
No fries. All right.
The exorcism will be $500 though.
Yes. Cash.
Up front.
Please. Right. Because I can't get this spelled. I can't get this bundle of sage back. This is holy. So I got costs.
So
nowadays I'm just
yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say nowadays I'm just a humble cheese merchant.
A cheese peddler.
Yeah,
cheese
okay. I want to
peddler.
know how did you end up starting a food truck like that?
So I've worked in the restaurant industry. Oh man, half my life at this point. So about 18
wow.
years, and I've worked at a few different restaurants. I managed a few different restaurants, and one of my friends came up to me one day and is like, "Hey, you talk about this food truck thing. Are you serious about it?" Because I'd been talking about like owning a food truck for a couple of years, but I don't have the money. And he was like, "I have money. Do you want to do a food truck together?" And I was like, "Okay." And we, for anyone listening or watching, don't ever buy or own a food truck. They are a nightmare from which you will never awake. We bought our food truck from Maryland. I live in Connecticut, and we bought our food truck from Maryland, so we had to go down and get it. It was a used truck. It already had the kitchen in it. It's an old FedEx truck, and they just converted it into a food truck.
Right.
And when we got there, it was in pretty rough shape, but it was still like, usable. It was used. It was probably it had been a food truck for 5 years at that point.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
And
That's not too bad.
Yeah, it's not too bad. And we had to drive it back to Connecticut. Now there were two problems with that. Connecticut doesn't issue transportation licenses for vehicles, and neither does Maryland. So I had to drive the food truck from Maryland to Connecticut with no license plate or registration.
Oh shit.
So my business partner had to follow me very closely in his car so that the cops wouldn't see I don't have a license plate. I never got pulled over. It was fine. The food truck at that point, the gas gauge did not work. So I did not know how much fuel it had. I had to stop every 100 miles and fill it up just to be sure. But it was an absolute nightmare to drive. It's like I said, it's an old FedEx truck, but it's unevenly weighted because the equipment on one side is heavier than the equipment on the other side. So taking turns is like white knuckle, hair raising. Especially, I've never driven one of them before, and I had to drive it back. It took about 5 hours to drive from Connecticut to Maryland. It took me 12 hours to drive the food truck from Maryland to Connecticut because I couldn't go through New York City because of the propane tanks on the truck. You're not supposed to like bring them through tunnels or bridges. And also I didn't want to deal with the New York City traffic. So
But if your vehicle runs on propane, you can drive that. You just can't have extra.
That's different, but I think you need.
Yeah.
We didn't have the stickers on the truck to say that the truck is flammable.
Oh,
you're supposed to have like
the.
Yeah. So we couldn't bring it because the New York City police would definitely pull us over, and so we had to drive.
Time at Rikers with your drug truck. It would have trumped up all kinds of shit on you boys.
I had to drive through like backcountry Pennsylvania, and then through the Poconos in New York. So like the truck was driving up and down mountains. And then we got it home. And
finally.
And the troubles were all over.
Yeah, and the troubles, nothing bad ever happened again. The person who turned it into a food truck, whatever company that was, didn't have a fucking clue what they were doing. So everything was wrong. When we got it, we found out the propane system was bad, the electrical system was bad, the plumbing system was bad. The truck was, like I said, unevenly weighted, which created a problem where when it rained, all the water, when it came down through the truck, would always go to one side of the frame when it dripped down onto the ground, which rusted out the frame of the truck. So the left side of the truck, the frame had huge holes in it.
Oh man!
that we had to get repaired because the truck was going to fucking fall apart. And the guy who fixed it, who like welded like big metal beams onto the frame, was like, "I'm surprised you got this home." He's like, "This thing was about to fucking break." So it took.
Hold on.
It took.
The truck sounds like it was in pretty rough shape, but
But
did it have ghost spiders?
no, it had real spiders.
Oh, excellent.
Actually,
I got real spiders, but she's molting right now. It's going to take about a week.
The entire inside of the truck was covered in grease because the person who owned it as a food truck before me did not know or care to clean it. So we had to throw out everything that was inside of it, and it had to be professionally steam cleaned twice.
Wow.
It's fine. Just you don't have to clean up after a service.
Whatever.
Just leave the windows open.
It's like
All the grease will go out. All the grease will go out.
Oh, do I have presentation powers? I do. I'll show everyone a picture of the truck. So after we got it fixed and cleaned again and fixed again, we called it the melting truck, and it is a grilled cheese food truck. Let's see if I can find.
Tim's my new best friend.
He hasn't told you what kind he makes yet.
I don't care.
Make all kinds.
It's got cheese
I make all
and
kinds.
it's grilled. I'm all over that shit.
So, ironically enough, for this show, we also started a little like brand with the food truck. We call the people who follow the food truck the cheese cult. So here, I'll show the truck.
Tim is the only cult leader that I associate with.
Oh, we got to get rid of that background. Actually, you can see that pretty good. Actually, there you go. The melting. You know, I'm kind of surprised you didn't call it wheels of cheese, right? Because
we had
cheese wheel.
So we had. Oh yeah, that would have been okay, but I think we were toying around with a bunch of different names, and the melting truck just seemed right because we had them design the little vinyl wrap, so it looks like the truck is literally like there's cheese coming out the top of it. So it looked like the truck was melting. But yeah, we do have join the cheese cult right there. That's our logo on the side of the truck. So I'm considered head of the cheese cult. I'm like the high priest of the cheese cult.
In the holy cow, it's got to be Ollie. Yep, it's
gotta
Ollie.
be.
But I've had the truck for a couple of years, and this year is like the first year that everything is functional on it. I've had some problems with like stuff breaking over the winter that have finally been fixed. We've gone through some equipment, but I mean, it's a good job to have if you like to cook. It's a bad job to have if you want to actually deal with everything else that has to deal with a food truck.
So who does that?
Me.
Yeah. Also,
I do it all.
Also,
my business partner helps, but I'm the managing partner of the truck, so I literally have to deal with everything.
Okay.
And my wife does
What's he
the
do? Just cook?
finances. I wish I could just cook.
No. Your partner does that, but just what he
Oh,
does is just to cook.
he's not as good as I am. He knows how to cook, but he's not as fast as me on the grill. Yeah. He knows it. He knows it.
He doesn't claim to be better.
But we also have an employee that's part-time in the summers that he does all the cooking. I got someone out of culinary school who's way faster than I am. And,
Nice.
you know, when he's not in school, he works on the truck.
Nice. Flipping them grillies all over the place, I guess. Huh? See, now I got to make a trip out that way just to try some of those sandwiches.
Yeah, I haven't perfected the shipping technology yet on
It's
shipping
not
the
gonna
grilled
be good by the
cheeses.
time it gets
Yeah.
If ever there was a need for replicators,
Right.
Yeah,
for when you want to get food that's crispy or has any kind of crust to it, and I need it teleported quickly.
So
Just got to make the replicator.
one of our specialties is a grilled cheese with a cheddar cheese crust on one side of the thing. So it's got cheese baked onto one side of the bread and then cheese on the inside. And that's
That sounds
people
like the
love that
artisan
one. Yeah. We call it the extreme.
The extreme?
I'm with it.
Our local Timmy Hortons does one like that, where they have the cheese on the outside, they grill
Yeah.
one side, and they got
Yeah.
cheese on the inside and stuff like that.
It is good stuff.
Throw some bacon in there, and I'm sold.
Oh yeah, we go through so much bacon; it's ridiculous. And like bacon got really expensive during the pandemic, but I couldn't stop buying it. Just had to charge.
If it's on the
more for
menu.
it. Yeah,
you
exactly.
just up the sandwich price by $1 or something.
The bacon must flow.
We up the price of the bacon because we sell so much of it that like bacon has to be independent of the sandwiches as a price. But
I see. So you can add these specific toppings, and they're each priced.
Yeah. I mean, we have custom. Well, like we have our specials, and then we have you can make your own grilled cheese.
Very nice.
There we go. Deneen says, "Now I want grilled cheese. Grilled ham and cheese with spicy jam.
Oh, we have that on the truck. We have spicy jam on the truck.
Yeah, it's a habanero jam, isn't it? Something like that?
We have it's a raspberry chipotle jam.
Oh,
yeah, it's delicious. It's probably the best thing that we sell. We get it from a local vendor, and he makes it for us by the gallon. That's how much we sell of it.
Wow. By a gallon, holy shit! That's 3.78 liters here in Canada.
Converted out of freedom units.
Yes. To actual freedom units.
Yeah. Tangible. Freedom units.
Yeah, grilled cheese is always, that I was always like as a kid, I was just like a traditional. I love PB&J, especially if you toast the shit out of it.
Yeah,
PB and honey and grilled cheese. Those are my go-tos like all the time, right?
Yeah.
Grilled cheese with ham or grilled cheese with bacon or grilled cheese with like a farmer sausage on it or something like that. Yeah,
yep.
Hell yeah.
My current favorite is an extreme grilled cheese, one with the with bin and that raspberry chipotle jam.
Raspberry chipotle, that sounds like it would be pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
A round of those sandwiches for everybody, including the audience. Fire up the truck, Tim. We would all like to try this.
How many you claim 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, I'll be out front waiting.
It's raining here, so I'll get my umbrella and my headphones.
It's like 1,000 fucking degrees here still. It's mid-October. It's never like this in mid-October here.
I'm boiling hot in my office, and 2 days ago it was in the 40s. So I don't know what the fuck is going on anymore.
Yeah, I have all the weather that you just had, so it's cold here now, and then it's going to be warm in the next couple of days.
All of my weather goes straight to Tim.
Yep.
And ruins.
We had a weather warning here that was supposed to get to like really, really windy yesterday, and I was outside having a couple of smokes, and I'm like, this really isn't that fucking windy. And they were calling for a little bit of rain too, and no rain. And the wind got maybe 20 kilometers an hour. They were calling for 60 to 70 kilometer an hour winds. And I was like, what the fuck? Nope.
See, luckily for you, they were wrong. Whenever I get that shit, it's like after I step out to smoke a little bit, I get blown back into the house. And then I get the alert on my phone saying, caution, high winds in your area for the next time. I'm like, yeah, no shit. I almost lost my fucking cell phone to a mailbox. Like
pulling yourself out of the fucking recycling bin. Yeah, thanks for the heads up.
Just hanging on to the trim of the house. He's like, no.
Well, we haven't gotten a lot of rain here lately, so all the trees are really dry and shit. So they were concerned that branches or shit were gonna fall off and break power lines and go through people's houses and crap like that. Yeah. Breezy with a chance of rain warning, Dave says. Yeah, well, that's what it ended up being, but it was not 60 to 70 kilometer an hour winds. That's for sure. Not even close. I could light my cigarette, so no. They had the wind for 3 minutes up at Coldstream, which is where Deneen is. I've been up there.
In Connecticut, we get like the most random weather, I would say. Like we get every kind of weather you can think of. It's really
Oh,
weird
really?
because we're like right on the Gulf.
Raining frogs. The hell?
Yeah, it would.
That was
if
Tuesday.
that happened, it would. Yeah.
The plagues.
Like we get occasional hurricanes. We get what we call nor'easters, which are just blizzards. We get windstorms, we get severe thunderstorms, we get tornadoes. Like every kind of weather you can think of happens in Connecticut at some point during the year.
Well, we don't get a lot of tornadoes here. There have been a few recently, and those are kind of a new phenomenon, but they're off on the water. So they're more like water spouts than they are tornadoes, but the winds don't work that way here so much. But 'cause we're on the coast, right? So it's a little different.
Yeah, we're right on like the jet stream. Like we get the Gulf current right up our coast, and then the westerly winds just push all the weather right into us.
Have you considered moving the state or installing large fans to blow it to a neighboring state?
I have considered moving, but not for that reason.
So the fans are a no then. Okay.
No, we looked at it. It's just too expensive.
You know, if you don't want to invest in infrastructure, just say it.
We're Vancouver's called Hollywood North because of all the TV shows and movies and shit that are shot up here. Because we have multiple different styles of landscaping that you can use. You can have desert, you can have mountain, you can have forest, you can have city, you can have everything here. So they film a lot up here. But we are literally becoming California because the weather just keeps getting better every year. Every year it stays warmer longer. But I've never, that I can remember living here where I am, that almost midway through October, it's still in the high teens and over into the 20s, to the mid to high 20s. In mid-October, it just doesn't happen. Usually I got a coat on, you know, my Canadian tuxedo jacket, which is literally flannel. And yeah, usually by now.
Typically, it snows every Thanksgiving and it rains every Christmas. It's like even more so, it's been snowing every Halloween and snowing every Thanksgiving. And then it's a drought after Thanksgiving until spring.
Yeah, we've gotten a couple of Halloween snows too. And I was like, it's October. That's not supposed to happen.
It's supposed to be running around like a pirate or an astronaut or something like that.
A little bit of snow on Halloween, I think that I can recall it's happened here twice. And it wasn't very heavy. It was just a little bit.
I think about 5 or 6 years ago, we had a blizzard on Halloween, like 2 feet of snow. Yeah, I was like, holy shit. Well, Halloween got canceled that year. But no, like
kids must have been pissed.
Oh yeah. It was straight up canceled. Yeah.
Go sledding in your costumes.
Yeah, Connecticut's a weird state for weather.
Speaking of Halloween, when you were doing the pagan store, did you get any kind of interesting people in on like Halloween to pick stuff up?
Let's see. Were we open on Halloween? I think we were.
Did the Sanderson sisters come in to buy it?
Why wouldn't you be? That'd be like the perfect day for it.
Yeah, I mean, we weren't open exactly a year. Like we made it like I think 10 months, but I think one of those months was October. We did do something on Halloween. Like the store was open, and I think we had like the other groups from the other New Age stores came over, and we all did like a thing. They did some sort of ritual that I don't understand, but you know.
Calling out Sammy.
Yeah.
Well, so your soul's gone, but don't worry about it.
Yeah. And they were all big into that Halloween wasn't Halloween, it was whatever the pagans called it. And you know, they have their own traditions for it. I participated, but like I said, I'm not knowledgeable about it. Funny story, I was also a Chinese delivery guy for a long time, and it was long enough where the Chinese people considered me like a member of their friend group or family or whatever. And so I celebrated some Chinese holidays, including Chinese New Year, which is fucking awesome. Chinese New Year is just an endless feast.
Yeah.
I fucks with that.
Huge celebrations here because we have a very large Chinese population here in Vancouver. And I'm friends with lots of them, and I get invited to all kinds of shit. Like the guy that owns our card store, is Buck Lum is his name, and he always has a bunch of stuff going on. And he goes, "Here, Neil, go get the because we get dragons that come by the store, and you're like, go out there and give them some lettuce, and then they give you a little red envelope that's got like coupons and shit in it. But then you get like all the fucking food is unbelievable.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
And they just ate and sang karaoke and drank until they passed out or whatever. Like it was great.
Sounds like my kind of party.
It's a lot of fun.
And lettuce dragons? Yeah, I'm definitely
in. In Winnipeg, on Halloween, one of the most popular costumes is Snowperman.
I hate it.
Yeah, you had to pick tricky costumes if it's snowy, because Deneen was saying in Edmonton it used to snow on Halloween and they get all bundled up. So who are you? I'm the Michelin Man.
Right.
Oh, big white jacket. I'm a polar bear.
Back when I was DJing, we definitely had some very cold Halloween like parties. Motherfuckers would be going through the snow in their heels so they can be a sexy cat at the bar. I'm like, would you just stop?
Oh my god.
Take them with you and put snow boots on. Like, what the hell?
Like, they're just, nope, I'm gonna go through, or no, I have this luau outfit, so I'm just gonna wear flip-flops to the bar in the middle of fucking snow on the ground in Chicagoland. And they're just like, nope,
it's minus 100. What's wrong with you?
God damn it, I look cute. I will not be stopped.
You're gonna be a fucking cute popsicle. That's what you're gonna be.
Yeah, when your toes are getting clipped off with some wire cutters because they're just dead.
They're gangrene.
Fucking frostbite.
Man, you know what? This holy water is great.
It's not bad. You got to try it with just a drop of the black oil.
The black destroyer oil.
Yeah.
But here now, Christians are claiming that dark matter is God.
Literally, so okay, yeah. They literally took another.
We don't know what it is, but we can. At least we know it's there because we see what the results of it are, or the what's the word I'm looking for?
Effects of it.
That's the word, like the sides of it, the effects of it. And I was, that's God. What?
We will
find out. We will find out what it is eventually. Religion is literally the what is it? What does he say? The ever emptying pockets of science or something. I don't know. Science just seems to prove everything that they think is what it is wrong all the time, and ultimately that will happen with dark matter as well and dark energy.
But until then, Neil, they can't. Scientists
God of the gap.
Science can't explain it. So we're gonna claim that shit. Yep, there you go, right up there. God, there you go. You can see it now.
No.
They can't figure it out, so we're gonna claim it.
I mean, that's what they've always done throughout history. Is we can't figure it out? Yeah, God did that.
At least they stopped setting people on fire.
That you know of.
You're right. You're right. I don't know everything. You're right.
I wouldn't put the church past setting people on fire.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Right. So Tim, you also ran for office.
Oh man, do you really want me to talk about that? Okay.
So
yeah, I ran for office. All right. So like I mentioned before, I have a master's degree in political science. I am technically a political scientist, and I ran for office a handful of times. The very first time I ran for office, I ran for mayor of the town I lived in. and as a write-in candidate. I wasn't with any party or anything. I was just kind of doing it for funsies and to piss off the mayor, which I did.
Mission accomplished.
Exactly.
Ladies and gentlemen,
So-
we got him.
We got him. I filled out the paperwork to be a writing candidate because in Connecticut you have to, even to be a writing candidate, you got to fill out a form. And then I went around campaigning, but I didn't have any money. So what I learned from my political science courses is door knocking is important. So I knocked on doors. I told people who I was. I went to events, and I pissed the mayor off in the press quite a bit. Because every time someone wanted to do an interview with me, I would be like, why is the mayor ducking me on the debate? I was like, he doesn't want to debate me, because there was a debate coming up. It was held by the League of Women Voters, and the Democratic candidate was going to be there, and I was going to be there. But the mayor was like, I don't need to be there. He's been mayor forever. The dude's been reelected 25 times.
Jesus.
Whoa.
Yeah, 2-year terms. He gets unlimited 2-year terms. It's a very Republican town, and I just wanted to piss off. I just wanted to piss him off. So I told him I told people he was ducking me in the press, and that he doesn't want to debate because he knows I'll win. And he actually responded in the press being like, I was 25 or 26 at the time. So he was like, this fucking kid here, he doesn't know anything. He's not gonna, I don't need to debate him. He's not going to win. And so he didn't come to the debate, but I did do pretty good in the debate, considering it's like the only debate I've ever been in. And on election day, I was poll standing at my polling location with a sign that said vote for me or whatever. And he votes in my district. He voted at my polling location. So he saw me when he came to vote. He's a tall guy. I'm 6 feet tall. He's a good head above me. He's like 6'5" or 6'6". Big
shit.
Italian guy.
Tim punches him in the face.
He came up to me and he shook my hand, and he could tell that I was like a little bit like, I don't know, unnerved at how, like, I didn't know he was that tall. And he shook my hand and he's like, how's it going? I was like, it's pretty weird right now. Because the mayor also has a history of FBI investigations and ties with the mafia. So I didn't know how far I should push him.
You want to wear concrete shoes?
Exactly. So, you know,
Hey, Squiggy, give him the shaft.
after that, the Democratic Party saw me running and was like, oh, hey, do you want to run with us next time? And I was like, sure, why not? There's money in it. And I ran for town council, or they were called the aldermen in that town, but I ran for town council 2 years later. I got close. I didn't win, but there's no winning in that town. It's all Republicans. And then I moved to the town I currently live in and ran for town council twice here and got reasonably close. But with the Trump elections, the Republican turnout got driven way up. Like the town I live in right now is like 50-50. But Democrats don't turn out and Republicans do, especially for like local elections.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you only have 30,
change that, Democrats.
I know. I think the best we can hope for is like 35% turnout in municipal elections, and the Republicans always turn out for municipal elections and Democrats don't. But it's always a learning experience. And then I tried to take over my local Democratic Party and got kicked out of it.
Where you got guy that ran the pagan shop? Get out.
No, I literally tried a hostile takeover and it didn't work.
Oh.
A failed coup.
I was very
sense.
unhappy about the way they ran the last election. And I was like, you guys don't know what the fuck you're doing. Let me do it. I have a degree in this. Let me do it. And they're like, no, it's fine, whatever. I was like, no, you guys suck. We keep losing. Let me run it. They disagreed.
You tell me if you let me run it, free lap dances for everybody.
And they didn't go for that. That was the initial
They
pitch. They didn't go for it.
They didn't go for it. I've also helped like statewide candidates run. I've been treasurer for a few guys. I've been a campaign manager. But yeah, politics is like it's my jam. Mostly it's like state and local politics. That's what I do the best. And public policy.
Okay.
Yes,
But
full disclosure, Tim's podcast, Speaking from the Center, has been usurped and bought and paid for by the Bin Podcast Network. Yeah, I did it. Yeah, I did it.
We got bought out by some corporate overlords.
We are benevolent. If anything, we are benevolent.
Yeah, you can find Speaking from the Center on the Bin Podcast on Twitch Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
I got all the links for Tim's
Oh, there
stuff
you
down
go.
below,
There you go.
including his food truck and Patreon and your Twitch, your Twitter, your YouTube channel of that one, and of course the Bin Podcast, and and stuff like that. So it's all down there.
Wow, that you found. Do you have my social security number?
I do, but I wasn't going to post that
Okay,
publicly,
all right.
right?
That's okay. I'll post it.
It's
Mike,
55.
1, 2, 3.
That sounds like a movie phone number. 555.
And the last
I
number
always
is
wonder what
10.
the hell that was. What, you want mine? I'll give you mine.
No.
My social security number. Well, in Canada, we call it social insurance numbers, which totally
Don't do
helps the
it.
Christians
Don't
because
do it.
that's a sin number, right? So, and
Ah.
mine is 3.
Damn
That's
you,
how
old.
I am.
Damn you, old.
That's how old I am. Mine is 3. Yeah. Well, Tim, what do you say we are you cool for doing the after party with us?
I could stick around for a few minutes, but I promised my wife I would see her at some point today.
It's still today.
Yeah.
Not
But we
for
do
much
take
longer.
a bit of a break. So you can go tell her you're gonna we do take a bit of a break in between the shows, right? So if you want to go and hang out with her, just say, listen, I'm gonna go in for 10-15 minutes in the after party, then I'll come back and we'll check out wow. Well, of course I'm assuming that's what's happening. I don't know. But I mean, that would be if it was me, anyways. That's all I can tell you. Anywho, but but dude, thanks for stepping up, man. I've been
Yeah, no
having you on here
problem.
for a while. It was great to have you on. Some
Yeah, it
great
was fun to
stories
be on.
about that store.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
we try, we try to make things a little levity and you weren't really overly religious as a kid. You had your God belief and whatnot, but it didn't last long, really.
Yeah.
So you tried other things. That's what I did too. I tried the whole pagan route. Called myself a Wiccan for a while. That kind of shit.
Yep. Yeah.
Lots of people do end up doing that because you're trying to find something spiritual. Of course, each and every one of us probably have our own definition of what that is. So,
Yeah.
Anyway. So thanks, man, and thank you guys out there in the chat. I hope you guys had fun tonight. I see tons of mice has popped up on the Twitch channel, so thank you to everyone over on Twitch, Twitter, and here on YouTube. Thanks to my amazing patrons. You guys, we do have some new patrons. Hang on, let me pull that up here.
And this goes to show that we don't know who Tons of Mice is. Tons of Mice for a long time was saying he was Tim. So is this Tons of Mice? Is this Tim? I don't know.
The world will never know.
The world may never know.
We have a new patron. The Bible says what? Became a patron, a $1 patron, and that's awesome. That's awesome. We had somebody up their amount as well recently.
Awesome.
Which was Jay, one of our earlier shows last week. Jay, who decided to up it to $7, which is my maximum because I don't want people throwing on. I mean, unless I'm doing a personal striptease for you, I don't want you stuffing money in my G-string. Right? So
that's okay. Just make multiple accounts, everybody. Everybody max out those 10 accounts at $7 each.
There you go.
$1 is all, they add up after a while, right? So, and it takes care of a lot of stuff that we do here. So thank you guys. Thanks for all you do for the show. Mikey, great job as usual, my friend. Even hitting those triple coins for good old Ollie there, who's probably so baked right now he's fallen out of his chair. But he'll be with us in the after party, I'm sure.
In spirit.
Yeah, exactly. But until then, guys, like I always say at the end of the interviews, by the way, the link to the after show is in the description box below, and it'll come up at the end of the credits as well. So you'll be able to go over there. If you want to join us, let us know, and we'll send you a link. Until then, like I always say at the end of the interviews, like the late, great Christopher Hitchens once said, it's called faith because it is not knowledge. And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.